learn, pick up some game, and add it, because I love music so much that I didn't really care what part of it I got accepted to. I just wanted to be in the music space and figure it out as I go. So I've worked at Rockefeller Records, I've worked with Akon, Sony, Columbia, and now I signed my own act from Nigeria named Jaya, and now building my own company and legacy and partnering up with my friends like Chibu to do stuff with his artists and his acts. So it's just another level now, just going from the creative to the executive, and that's why it's really important to learn like the business side, because the art side run out. You're not gonna be young and cute forever. Like, you need to learn the business so you could go transition to a boss and also find people that you could groom and put them in position. So that's me, Rob Jua. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, cuz.
So my name is Ye Ali. I'm from Indiana. I started off as an artist, and I kind of became a producer because artists would sample me. So I never was a guy making beats or anything like that, but Chris Brown sampled me, Sway Lee, Trippie Redd. So that's what got me credited as a writer and a producer. So my goal was never to make beats or write for other artists. It kind of was a circumstantial thing where I got sampled, so I had to find a lawyer, and I had to make sure I got paid and credited correctly. So in that, I kind of got thrown into it, and so I learned how to make beats a little bit. It's not really a passion of mine, but I was able to network with all other producers, you know? So I ended up signing a producer to my company. His name is Butterfly Wolf. He's just produced on Party Next Door's album a song called Cheers. He's done Jack Harlow, Chris Brown. So I used, you know, the circumstance and the situation I was in to my advantage. People said I was a writer and a producer. I really wasn't, but technically I was, and so I would use that to get in the rooms. You know, I did Jack Harlow, already best friends with Chris Brown. So my advice to you guys is every situation you're in, it can be helpful for your next step. I know one of the guys said he wants to be a producer, and you're an artist. So, you know, dedicate yourself to what you're doing now, and it'll make the next step 10 times easier. So I'm here to be a resource, and I'm grateful to be here.
Give it up. Yeah, Ali.
Hello, everybody. My name is Chibu Amajoy. Parents of Nigerian descent, from Los Angeles, California. I actually started off as an athlete. I played football, American football, but actually I finished college. I got into school in aerospace engineering, so I was actually going to be working at NASA. But that transitioned because I wanted to play football, but then from there, professional football didn't work out the way I wanted it to out of the few years that I wasn't in it, so transitioned into music. Been in the music business for like 12 years. Worked with plenty of artists from Future and having a #1 with Drake, and now I have, you know, countless artists that we worked with. Now my producers and artists, songwriters, right now I'm just trying to grow everybody to a certain pinnacle so they can be able to do their own thing and be able to pay it for it. But yeah, I mean, I've been in the business for a while. I've seen pretty much everything that we could see, you know, and now just about kind of understanding the business of where it's at, since it's always moving, and understanding the business of music as a commodity business, so putting a different mindset behind it. So, I mean, yeah, I've been in the business for 12 years and continuing going to grow every artist that I have. I have producers, songwriters, engineers, artists, you know, all signed with me, and just, you know, it starts with a belief, and you gotta believe in yourself. You gotta have a why and why you're doing everything. And, you know, things are not automatic when it comes to this. You're gonna have to have a no-quit attitude, because you're gonna go through ups and downs, especially when you don't have the certain resources that you need. So, but it's definitely a rewarding journey when you're able to stay at it and then finally start receiving the things that were destined for you. So, Yeah, I would just say I've only been in a decade plus, but don't see myself stopping. So if you're just starting in your first or second year doing this, and this is what you really want to do, just know that anything that you're passionate about, you didn't conjure that yourself. So if you know that that passion and that want is inside of you, just know that it was given to you. So you have to pay respects to that and do the most you can to be able to achieve what you really want to do, and also know what your why is. That's going to be the gas that continues you to get up and go do it. So I don't know. I know Rob is going to get into it when it comes to mental health, but you're going to have a very strong mind in this business, because this is not just a regional thing or national thing. It's very global. So you have there's 99% of consumers of music. So if you're one creating the music, just know you're in a 1 percentile of people doing so, and you have a responsibility, because if whatever you're saying out of your mouth, someone can go take it as law. So as long as you understand a lot of those little intricate little things in the music business when it comes to the creative side or the business side, just know that what you're doing, you eventually, if you don't quit, you're going to have mounts of people that are going to count your words as law. So just know that what you're doing is just staying at it, staying what you want to do. Music is a rewarding thing. It's very healing, so I'd say just stay at it. I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. So, I'm not in the place that we all want to be, you know what I mean? But I have a wealth of knowledge that I'm grateful to be able to capture while doing the work, and also the things that I've done in the past to be able to influence my mindset in this current state. So, yeah, just let me give you guys that.
Chibu. Noel.
What's up? My name is Noel. I'm from Washington Heights, Manhattan, New York. I live in LA now. I've been there for about 5-6 years, I think now. I am an artist, producer, engineer, songwriter. I run my own developing company for artists back in the States as well. I started it about 1.5 years ago. I've had about 7 clients. 2 of them already going to majors with the songs that we did. I believe in development a lot. I think it's one of the most important parts of your career. I'm grateful enough to reflect back and see that after developing so many artists, I actually ended up developing myself. And it's definitely a reflection thing. It goes back to kind of from artist to producer. That's the reason why I answered that way, because the only reason why I can say I do know how to do all those things is because it just bothered me that I couldn't do it. That's it. That was the answer. The one day I just sat in front of it, I couldn't do it, and I had to force myself to want to learn more about it. So I always really try to implement that into any artist that I help develop, any artist that I work with, because I like to say my day job is a songwriter, but I'm an artist all the time, and then I get to work on developing most of the time, whenever I have blocks for it. But it definitely helps as an artist to reflect. I think that helping each other that way here is basically the same thing. Helping each other with each other's resources. If somebody knows something more, it's not about necessarily teaching them. It's about saying, there's a saying that's if you can't be used, you're useless. And it's true, because it has such a negative connotation to it, but it's not negative at all. We were talking about soccer earlier, Paris and I, and it's a team is a team. Midfielder is not a striker is not a defender. So it's everybody kind of plays their part, and the same thing in music, and same thing when you have friends like Rob and my manager, Chibu, as well. You have people to talk to about different fields, you learn so much, you get to actually develop yourself again, like I was saying. So I think that's super important, and it also goes into and branches into mental health as well, something that I talk to a lot with artists, because one of the things I do before I start with my client is I usually go out to dinner with them, or I usually like do something very casual because I just want to talk for 3 hours, you know, because how am I going to write music for you or with you if I have no idea what the story is? You know, I don't know what you went through. I don't know if you're going through a breakup. I don't know if you, like, I have no idea. So it kind of allows us to go into a room full of producers, full of engineers, and letting them dictate something without having to scream, you know? It's more like I always tell them, show them by example. So another thing too is like in development, usually when I do camps, I tell the artist, you're the example. So if we're all sleeping until 10 o'clock, well, if the artist is sleeping until 10 o'clock, everybody will sleep until 10 o'clock. But if the artist starts at 8 a.m., they start doing yoga, they do meditation, eventually the ones who don't do that will get weeded out and everybody else will follow suit because they want the placement, they want the interaction, they want the relationship, whatever the case may be. So I do think that everyone here, and I've seen so much, all of you that have been working at the house, you guys can help each other this way, like by speaking to each other, by seeing what one does better than the other, you know, and not necessarily having to be like, please do this for me, but the want of doing it, you know, to elevate. That's pretty much it, yeah. I'm very grateful for being here. I feel like the St. Lucian people are so great. The food's great, everything's great. Thank you for having us. Yeah. That's right.
Give it up for Noel. Next we have super producer, fresh haircut, Mr. Hagler.
Thanks for having me. How's everyone doing? My name is Hagler. I'm from Toronto. I was born and raised there. I'm actually native St. Lucia. Well, I'm not born here, but my father's from here. So, yeah, I'm a producer. I've done records for Drake, Chris Brown, A$AP Ferg, Ty Dolla, et cetera, Vince Staples, Young M.A. I got in this game officially in 2013. That was my first placement on Nothing Was the Same on the Drake project. And it took a long time, so just being here to help bridge this gap in the island so we could bring awareness and attention to the island because there's talent here, because there's no real industry or infrastructure here on the business side. It's just a blessing, you know? So I've been doing this, and anything I could do to help the talent and give them knowledge and my experiences and share that with them and give them the gems, I'm just blessed, you know?
Yeah, give it up for the panel. We also want to give it up for Paris and Siobhan. I've been giving them a hard time every second, but they've been doing an amazing job at making sure like we're comfortable and just getting what we need and making sure the students show up or the artists show up and everybody come and participate. So I want to give them a shout out because they've been like a major glue between us and you guys. So shout out Paris, the short guy right there. And Siobhan, he's somewhere looking for somebody's daughter somewhere here. Oh, Siobhan over there, I see you. Thank you. Just want to say thank you publicly so that people on TV know. And we grateful for you guys. Thank you. So we want to start this action, and we got to see a lot of you guys and like the talents you possess. And to be honest, was like super surprised. Like you guys are super, super talented. Just want to kind of start this off with some questions of what you have and what you like to learn. And I also want to know what have you guys learned since being here. So if we could start with you right here with the white shirt and kind of pass the mic around. Yes, you. Or even her with the blue shirt because she's actually been in there recording and stuff. I want to know two things, right? Number one, what has been your experience so far at this camp? And then number two, what takeaway do you have that you're going to actually do? Not just be excited today and then next Thursday you back to your regular St. Lucia life.
Honestly, it was a very beautiful experience. Learning, first of all, different styles, seeing different creative processes, learning, different genres in the making. It was a very blessed experience, very grateful to be here. And for me, the takeaway, honestly, I've seen Yizo put down melodies and Noel, and it's very inspiring. In terms of writing, you definitely came in when we was doing that one song and let us know that lyrics are very important in terms of grabbing people and, making it deeper than just, generic. So for sure, flavor and time, patience. Yeah, very blessed to be here.
Perfect. My youth,
Yeah.
there.
Well, to be honest, like from the first time they introduced me to the vibe, I like the vibe one time. Like when I reach home, when I wake up, it's down to go back one time. Yeah, man. To record and being around with different artists and things, like it's just a feeling of motivation and like I just feel like I belong there. Yeah.
What are you gonna do different? Like once we leave, what are you doing to keep this going, keep the energy going, turn this into something for yourself?
Well, I just going to try and dig deeper, do more research, like you said, on the business side and different things, and yeah, keep the link strong.
Do you have any questions for anybody up here? Are we gonna get to you? Oh, you go? Oh, come closer. Come up and come get a mic. Yeah. Thanks for your answer too, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
What's up, bro?
No disrespect, not to cut.
No.
But I
Come,
must
jump
say,
in.
for the collaborative force and the networking and the connection, the genuine relationships we built during this time, it was something that I definitely would be building the consistency, making sure that I keep in touch with my brothers and sisters.
That's amazing. Yeah, give him a hand. See, that's what it take, right? Like me and Chibu met. We was on opposing sides. I was representing one exec, and Chibu was representing a writer he managed, and them two were having issues. And me and Chibu were kind of like tired of the issue. And then I don't know if it was me or him, but one of us was like, "Look, they arguing too much, man. What do you have going on, and what you got going on, and what could we do together?" And that collaborative energy is what we shifted to collaborate and say, you know what, we could focus on what we could do together because we could do more together than being apart. Like our counterparts wanted to beef and fuss and bicker and stuff. So you got to know that collaboration is the key for everything. Even if you only getting 1% of something or 10, it doesn't matter. Are you a part of something that's moving? And get your ego out the way to be a part of something that's moving. Go combine with your brothers, your sisters, and whoever you need to go with because you got a better shot doing it together. So that's how me and him got here, just off of a conversation of us trying to diffuse people and their egos when we was like, I don't do this. And Chibu was like, I don't do this either. And then we just went and did our own thing and now built a friendship, turned it into business relationship, turned it into more off of just knowing how to collaborate and knowing how to, me and him have similar personalities. We both alphas, we both cancers. We could have easily said, I don't want to work with you. I don't want to work with you. But he does things I don't do. I do things that he don't do. But together we do everything. So learn how to collaborate with your brother, your sister, your artist, your creative counterparts could help you because somebody does something that you don't do and vice versa. And that's how you get there in a better way. Anybody else who got questions?
Yes, so far I must say I've enjoyed the experience because since you guys came down, like I never really got a real taste of what the artist life is really like because, in St. Lucia, like it's kind of tough because, we don't really have like the market when it comes to like the genre of dancehall. It's mainly focused on Dennery segment. But I must say, what I learned is that it's not only becoming an artist, you gotta study the whole entire music industry, And I must say, I like the sleepless nights and those stuff, you gotta be able to be putting in the work and such, So, yeah.
You have that's a good point. You got to do everything, again, or else you're going to get left behind because it's so much bigger than just the music part.
Yeah.
You have any questions for anybody up here?
No.
All right. Y'all got anything y'all want to jump in?
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, what's up? To add what he was saying, it was just a a nice, positive environment. You know, to go around, these guys freestyling on the outside, music video, like you just get bombarded with positive energy. And I'm a Afro artist. I end up writing a pop song with Kanye West over there. Big up yourself, star.
Kanye.
Big up yourself, star. So yeah, of course, the wealth of knowledge from you guys, you know, that's something I'll definitely take with me, and I appreciate the opportunity. I hope you guys come back again and keep this going.
Oh, no, we're coming back.
Yeah?
Yes, right, Miss Jackie O? Yeah.
Yeah, good day. My name is Oz.
Oz.
Sadly, I came here only last night.
That's cool. You coming tonight too? Pause.
Yeah, earlier. But what I learned, like, what the experience I got last night was really, really, like, family kind of vibe. Like, we have, like, a lot of different genre artists around, like, songwriters. You know, and, like, everybody just came together and, you know, just make a vibe happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Pilot, like you said, he did a pop track with she's a good writer. I saw her writing a song for a French girl last night, and it was very, very, very nice. So, like, all that is, like, good opportunities, and, like, I just hope, like, when you guys come back, I'm here from day one. I won't miss out on anything.
Oh no, we're gonna have the big marketing, all of that next time. But this was good to kind of get an understanding of what's going on here.
Yeah, man, that was really positive vibe. Just last night, so far less for the nights before, like.
Right, right, right.
I could just beat myself, you know, but still.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Hold on. So look, we didn't know how big this guy was because he walking around quiet. Then people coming like, you know who that is? I'm like, no, that's Ransom. He's the biggest here, da-da-da-da-da. And he just hang around by the kitchen, hang by the bathroom. He don't really say who he is or anything like that. So big up yourself because you fire. And I love, like, your humility for what everyone's been coming around and saying about you. You have been just a humble worker ant, just ready to get stuff done and fit in where you fit in at. So big shout outs to Ransom.
Yeah, man, big up. Yeah, so with all that's been happening, like the music vibe, like that kind of like inspired me to do more, like write more, make more beats, get better at my craft, and be consistent. Like, we have a lot of talent in St. Lucia, but we just don't get the opportunities to, like, actually be exposed, like, globally. So with you guys being here, yeah, man, that's a vibe. So I know great things will happen. Yeah, so shout out to you guys. Big up.
Shout out to you. With you being here on the island, that's good for your town too, because you see everybody's been speaking for you, like, a lot. The barber's cut my hair. Do you know Ransom? He's the biggest, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay, he's that guy. So shout out to you too.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
My name is Siobhan.
Uh-oh.
Well, one thing I learned from this entire experience is that the hope is not lost for making St. Lucia a creative hub. And this gives us more, like, energy to put out there on you guys and make sure that we show up and make sure you guys are getting the opportunities that we want to create for you. And the fact that we have our wonderful panelists there and the other supporting crew, you know, and the way that they work, their work ethic, and the way that they were so welcoming to our locals, it just touched my heart. And honestly, I'm so glad.
Oh.
Yeah, you know I'm a soft one.
Hey, yo.
Pause.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm glad you guys came out. Glad we and the locals and the local artists have been introduced to quite a few of them. We want to keep the vibes going, keep in touch with each other, and see what ways we can support each other and increase on the creative output of St. Lucia on the whole.
Yeah, thank you. And big shout out to you too. I know we've been giving you a tough time, but it's all love. That's just what we do in New York.
It's all love. It's all love.
Yeah.
Yes, hi. Blessings. Drum Ninja here.
What's up?
Good night to everybody. I wasn't here last night, but based on what my bros told me, like, that experience was mind-blowing. And, like, they were talking about, like, the energy and how everyone was networking and whatnot. And from my experience, I know many people don't know me as an artist, but I'm a drummer on the scene, you know? But I remember Paris, and was it last year or a few years ago? I think we did something like that with KO and Jen at the Villa, and it was a really cool vibe, you know. Some really good tracks came out of that. And I just want to say it's a good thing to see a lot of creatives come together and collab and put all the egos aside and just come and connect, you know. And I think that's a very good initiative you guys have going on. And I'm just glad to be a part of it, you know. Yeah, blessing.
Blessings. You got any questions?
Well, not really. Well, just mainly on sync licensing. That's the only thing I might have a question on. But
what's your question?
Well, like how do we get into sync licensing? Like a direct link into sync licensing.
I mean, there's no real direct link. A lot of that stuff people do through publishers, or you go chase down music supervisors. So either you're gonna do the hard way, which is go on LinkedIn and send 1,000 emails and follow these people on Instagram, Twitter, wherever you can find them at, hound them down, or get a publishing deal, and that sync team does it. There's really no direct, easy way, because we all would do it right now if we knew the direct, easy way. There's no direct, easy anything in music. Music is hard, probably the hardest thing you probably gonna ever pursue, because even when you get to one level, you realize you got so many more levels to go. You're like, wow, I'm tired already. And you still got so much more to go, and it get a little harder the higher you get, too. So nothing is easy in it. That's why a lot of people not in it. A lot of people give up because it's hard. But, as you keep fighting through, it's worth it. So there's no easy way, but there is a way.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier about not quitting, because just like you were saying, you get through one level, there's another one. And it doesn't stop, really, ever. Even when you're at the highest level, you're the biggest artist in the world, there's a whole other level you have to get through as well. I would probably really encourage that everyone that has met in the music or in the to really get to know everybody, to connect with everybody. Unfortunately, in every neighborhood, when someone's doing better than someone else, you also have to be able to prepare yourself for people that, don't want you to really get that. So it's to combat that, it's best to be able to create a very positive relationship with everyone that's doing the same thing you're doing. So, but yeah, don't give up. Do what Rob was saying. Definitely go online and do your research on who's the sync provider, who's the head of music for a TV show or a movie or whatever of those productions in the area and beyond. Because we're not just talking about your island, we're talking about sync placement for everybody and everything. So you have to really do that research to know and be intentional about where and who you want to work with, so you know exactly what to look for instead of just opening up and searching aimlessly. I think you should be intentional about everything when it comes to music. You need to be intentional about what you want to do. You need to be intentional about what you want to even sing about, write about, produce. You have to have a mentality of being intentional about where you want to go, or you also have to have half of that needs to be how I'm feeling today, what I want to regurgitate in the music and how you do it, So, that's a quick little.
Yeah, give it up for Chibu.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, good evening, everyone. For those who may not know me, my name is Kilo. I make multiple different genres. And last night, I was very impressed on the way, everything went. Everybody working, everyone has ideas. I myself had a lot of ideas that I wanted to work on with some of the artists right here, right now. Because I've been listening to the music over the past couple of years, and bro, I'm really mind-blown and I'm really impressed, bro. And listening to the music give me so many ideas. So when I meet up with them, it gives me a motivation to create more music and to help create something new and to help tackle a different genre or try and experience something totally different from what I've been doing myself. So I must say, I really respect you all and I really appreciate everybody coming out last night, how the vibe was, everybody doing their own thing, everybody networking, everybody building connections. And it's not just about building connections, but keeping the connections that's been built. So I respect everybody, and basically, we need more people like y'all guys to come down here and create more events like this, bring people together, make movies, make vibes, videos, create content non-stop. Bro, I appreciate y'all. Keep it up, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, good day. My name is Ozzy. I'm
What's
a
up?
producer, rap, dancehall, stuff like that. Yeah, last night I came through. Yeah, I really liked the vibe last night. I worked with a couple artists, some local artists I never worked with. Yeah, I recorded them. Me and Kilo made a beat. Yeah, they hopped on it and stuff like that. And yeah, even the collaboration with like, I met new artists there. Collect contacts and stuff like that. Yeah, man, I really appreciate that vibe. And looking forward to talk to all of y'all. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Good day to all here. It's Linsky's. I'm a music producer, professional keyboardist. I also songwrite. And I'm one of the co-founders of The Creators. As my business partner, we basically arrange music for artists and just creators in general, so we can take your performance bring to another level. I'm so grateful to see so many people here interested in developing the highest form of music production for their own brand, because it's something here in St. Lucia for so many years I've always not been happy about it, because everyone wants to express music in their own way, right? You cannot take that from an artist. But I really appreciate when people take the music to that professional step. And like you mentioned earlier, sometimes for the business sake of music, you might have to do a dance hall, not just because it's trending, but it's something that will sell. You don't have to, even if we do soca here, and you have that capability of doing a dance hall, hey, you want to get yourself out there, you want to get yourself more in that media. Sometimes it's nothing wrong. It's nothing so bad for you to do something a little outside of your comfort zone. And whether it's maybe reggae, something different, it pushes yourself out there. And I appreciate you mentioning that earlier, because that's something I try to let my label members know. Sometimes you literally have to do other things that will put yourself out there in the business. It's not just about doing what you want, but something else for just that breakthrough. So I appreciate that, and hopefully I can collab with many of you here.
That's dope. You have any questions?
Nah, I'm good for now. Thank you so much.
All right, cool. Thank you. You have a question, Merge?
Man, y'all doing y'all thing out here, man.
What?
Y'all the greatest. Nah, I don't have no questions. Y'all doing y'all thing. I'm just
While we here, while he's standing up, that's another super dope producer named Merge. I know you guys got to work with him at the camp. You see him floating through the room. The man of the hour.
Hi guys, I'm Paris. We wanted to put this together as a pioneering project, and it was very nice to see how the progression happened over the course of the week. I know we reached out to quite a few people to come to the camp in the beginning, and it wasn't that I wasn't that impressed on the first 2 days. We had one person show up, but after 3 days, 4 days, when everybody understood the vibe and what we're trying to do, I saw everybody coming with their friends. They're coming with other people they want to work with. They're networking. They're trying to get to understand the business. They sat down with each and every person and they tried to get to know what's going on, and I like to see that. And it was very interesting to see, the energy between the locals themselves and seeing the process. And it was, I think there was a lot of inspiration that happened when they got the opportunity to do it hands-on and work with people that are actually, in the game, that's worked with Drake, that's worked with Kendrick, that's worked with, The Weeknd, that's worked with all these big artists, and seeing the workflow and seeing the process, because there's not just one process. You can use many different ways to get to the end game. And I think one thing that's important right now for us to understand is, creating the music is important, but we have to figure out the way to increase visibility, and then all these guys that I brought down here to collaborate, not one person said that St. Lucia doesn't have talent. You know, we have a lot of good talent. The music that was being created, you guys are gonna hear it eventually. But I was impressed myself, you know? So I just wanna shout out to St. Lucian talent. I think we have a lot to do here. We have a lot of people that are interested in making things happen here. I just wanna make sure, you know, the next time we come, that the word spreads and everybody knows what's good, because this is a movement that we're trying to make. And if we started in St. Lucia, everybody's gonna start replicating the process. And who wants to be known for that? St. Lucia does. You heard?
Give it up for Paris. You got a question?
All right, so I wasn't part of this program, although I wish I was. I was just made aware of the seminar, well, the panel discussion.
Come tonight.
Okay. But my question for you guys is, how do you create a fan base and get people to listen to your music?
I always say, I tell people to start at what's like natural and genuine to you, right? So like if you posting on social media, TikTok, Instagram all the time, and these people just really love you like dressing up and you like ties. You got all these ties and they like, yo, his tie game is sharp, and they just really follow you because you got a different tie on. Find out what people like about you that you do all the time, genuinely because you love it, whether you're showing it on social media or not. And then find out how to turn that into creative content. Then find out how to put music that you make behind what people like you for. It's really not that difficult. People just don't do it and stay consistent with it because it's hard. Like, it sounds easy to make a post once a day or 3 times a day. It sounds very, very easy. It's mentally hard because you like, I think I'm doing too much. Oh, this one only have 11 likes and that one got 28. That one got 2,000. Why did that one get 2,000? Oh, that worked. Let me try that again. You do the exact same thing and the same exact post get 20, and you like get confused and you may get discouraged. So it's really about building an audience of people that like you for you and what you do. Find out what they like you for, and then find out or be a smart way to put the music that you want to promote behind your everyday life, your everyday content, and pick something that you do consistently. Because if you can't do it consistently, it's going to be hard to build up this, you know, I call content a catalog, right? When you go from one post and now you look back, you got 5,000 posts. It's going to be hard to just do that and not have your mind ready to do that and not care and worry about numbers and who's sharing what and who's not sharing. You got to just build it. By the time they find you, they're going to go back and binge. They're going to go back to your first page, your first post, to kind of learn your journey to where you at today. They see you up 500,000 followers, 1 million followers, and people who really offend if you're going to go back. It's just like how our life on social media is pretty similar to when we find a TV show we like on Netflix or something, and you caught it at episode 70, but then you go back to like episode 1 because you love it so much and you want to not cheat and get the whole story. So your life is a story on social media too, and just figure out, you know, how to take that consistent part and promote your music within like the real you. But it take work. It's not easy, and we all could do it because guess what it costs? Nothing. But who want to do nothing for a long time before they get something? Raise their hand. Nobody raised their hand. Yeah, it's that hard to do nothing for a long time before you get something. And everybody should have raised their hand.
So I would say just to, as an artist, there's so many artists in the world. There's so many artists in your city. It's almost impossible to oversaturate yourself. Unless you're like a huge mainstream artist, I would say you gotta put out music and videos very often, to the point where, you know, I was putting out music on SoundCloud in like 2015 and 16, and I put out so many songs that eventually the tide kind of shifted. It was a tipping point where some songs didn't do well at all, and then randomly some songs would get 100,000, 200,000, and it wasn't necessarily my favorite song, but I noticed the more I put out, the more attraction I had from just random people. So back when I was releasing music, you really couldn't run ads on Instagram, right? Now you can put $5 a day on an Instagram post that's a video of your doing your music. you can get fans off of that. It goes on the Explore page. You can get Google ads. You can get ads on Facebook or Meta. So I would say you gotta kind of overextend yourself. If you think you're dropping enough music, you're not. Drop 10 times as much, because as many people who I know me, there's millions of people who don't. So even with myself, I put out 2 projects in the last 2 months. That's about 15 songs. I haven't dropped music in 2 years. And so I'm noticing I'm getting so many more fans now that I'm just back actively engaged. And so that's my advice. Like, put out music every other week, 5 times a month, shoot a video for that song 4 different times, 4 different locations. Do it once in the studio, do it once on the beach. If you work out, go work out and perform the song while you're on the treadmill. Just stuff that you think is like simple everyday stuff. If you cook, raise your hand if you know how to cook. All right, so
none of y'all cooked at the house?
Anybody who's ever been on a date, you know that the opposite sex loves that someone knows how to cook. So now think about the opposite sex who you don't know, who get turned on just by somebody being in the kitchen. And now you're in the kitchen and now you're doing music. And, you know, just little things like that, like bro was saying earlier, do what you're naturally gifted at, but make it the centerpiece of your music. If you cook well, if you like to work out, if you like to be in the studio, if you like to be on the beach, if you like to hang out with 20 of your friends at once, put the music behind that. Do a performance with you and 10 of your boys while they're just doing their thing, but you're the one performing. It's just simple stuff like that. You don't have to shoot a $5,000 video. Those days are gone. You don't have to do that anymore. So you can just shoot it off your phone. I know everybody has cameras, so don't overthink it, man. Because the average person, like I said, the average person in America or any country cannot sing. The average person cannot rap. The average person can't make a beat. The average person can't model, and simple things that you guys are good at. No one's gonna overjudge it. Only artists overthink and feel like, all right, it's not good enough, it's not mixed well enough. Only if you know how to mix songs do you know if a damn song is mixed well. The average person can't tell if a mix is okay or could be better. They can't do it themselves, so that's not how they look at it. So I would say, like, my number one piece of advice, put those songs out, mixed as best as you possibly can at that moment, and just make it consistent and shoot content and shoot videos for it. You don't have to rent out a big mansion. You could do it, like I said, on the beach, in the kitchen. Just don't overthink it. Put it out, because the average person is looking at you guys like geniuses. No matter how well the song's mixed or how well it's shot, nobody can do it but a real artist. So, you know, don't overthink it. Put it out, and just, you know, if you guys have Instagram and Twitter and things like that, your favorite song, your favorite video you've ever done, put $5 on it for a week straight and see how many fans you get. When you go on the notifications, it says, this person followed from this ad or from this reel. That's a random stranger who liked it enough to invest in you socially and follow you. So that's like my advice for all the artists out there.
Well said.
I want to add to that. I think every artist should know that you're a brand. Just like you see that water over there, that water there's a brand of that water. I think every artist should know that you're a brand. So you need to market your brand to the best of your ability. That's true to yourself. You don't really need to do it for others. You need to do what's in you. And then, there's 8 billion people in the world. All you need is like less than 1% to just love what you're doing. And then your whole life is taken care of by your own thing. You just need to understand, just like you do the consistency that Ye was talking about, you know, the marketing thing that Rob was talking about. You just need to understand that you're a brand. An artist is 9 businesses in one. An artist is 9 businesses in one. When it comes to merch sales, when it comes to streaming income, when it comes to sync income, when it comes to social media, when it comes, there's so many things that are all encompassed into what an artist is as a brand. You know, when you got to do what you got to do to sell that brand that's you. You know, if you can compare yourself as the water brand that's sitting back there. You're technically the same, but and also too, water obviously is a commodity. Music is a commodity. People need it in their life. So if you understand that you are a necessity in 8 billion people's lives, then you will know how to be able to curate your brand to a percentage of those people. They're gonna come. You walk in a room and 3 people like your song, that means 3 million people like it, which means you need to find a way to get it out to 300 million people. You don't need that much validity when it comes to your music. You just need a couple people. You just know it translates to millions of people. You just have to figure out how to get it out to those people. So just understand that you're a brand. You're not just you. Even though you are, you need to understand that you are more than just your name, especially if you're doing this music. So you'll figure it out. Everybody will figure it out, especially if you're dedicated to it and you don't quit on it, then it will work out. Just like anything you work on, that you don't quit. I don't know if you know about 10,000 hours. Put in a minimum of 10,000 hours into anything you do, you're going to be an expert at it. If you don't go in the studio enough, if you don't make enough music, you can't expect to be this big personality, this big brand. You can't expect it if you don't work. You know, if you don't know how to work, when you go to the gym, you're not going to get super strong that day. You have to get in and be dedicated for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. That 6 months from the time you started to the time you end, you're a whole different person. You have to look at it like that when it comes to the creative process in this music. You need to put in amounts of hours to where things are. So Noel can literally record himself, make the beat, do the reference himself, do everything himself. He developed artists and taught an artist that didn't know how to do any of that. And now that person is able to record themselves. You know, how many days it took. The fact that they were dedicated into figuring it out, that's the only way you're going to be able to do this. It's not going to be given to you. You have to know how to be able to take it for yourself and understand that it's not easy, but you have to want to do it. 10,000 hours, you put that in, you're guaranteed to be a whole different person, a whole better writer. You might not know how to record yourself. Now you're going to be able to know how to record yourself. That takes the dedication to search and research on how to do so. You know, YouTube is a great teacher if you're by yourself to learn everything, but it's very important to know that it's not given to you. You have to go take it, and you have to do it by countless practice and countless working out in the gym, was what I call it, you know. And if you do that, you're going to be doing everything yourself without anyone's help at any time, because you've dedicated yourself into learning every piece, into taking your concept that's in your mind to screen or to the phone. Once you figure that out, then you really don't have anything to really worry about. You just got to wait for your time. But between that, from now until that time comes, if you don't put the work into yourself, you're not going to get it. So once you just be able to understand that and change your mentality on that, then these questions you're going to have today, you will never have those questions again because you've been doing it already. You know, so.
You had a question? I know he want to talk, Mr. Red Hat. He been one of the most turned up people at the camp. What's up, my youth? You ready?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chris Gilbert. Yeah, most of you all know me already, but I arrived a little late because I got off from the studio late last night. I arrived home at 5 o'clock this morning. If you could see my face, I have not slept because of these guys right here, you know.
Pause.
Thank you very much, guys. I mean, I met them on the beach at work last week, Saturday. I work at Sandals Grand, and two of them came to the beach for a sea bath, and they were with Chauvon. And right away, Chauvon just introduced me, and I left work right away, and I have not been back at work from Saturday. So until they low leave on Thursday, I not going back to work. So I going back to work on Friday. Yes, I still have a job.
Yeah, he definitely, we met
fully
him,
covered.
and he jumped in the car with us. He's about that life, guys. He jumped in the car with us right on the spot and said, I'm coming with y'all.
And I've not been back at work because I have to work to make money, to invest in the music. But the relevant information from these guys was more than the money that I make at work, you know. The steps that, the little information they make me and the little steps I take towards the music already, I'm already seeing changes. Just like my guy last night. We were building a rhythm for me. And my guy came in and he saw the rhythm being built. He came back, he heard the rhythm. When he went out and he came back again, he saw me writing lyrics and he's like, yo, what you doing? We don't just write lyrics, what you doing? You build a melody, you build a style before, right? But I had already done all that because they had already briefed me on all that, right? So right away, I just spat my melody for him. He's like, that's the melody. Right now, all you have to do, think of the best lyric. Everyone you put, think of the better way it can be said. What's the way it can be said multiple times? What's the way it can be said that it has not been said before? So the music in itself is not just the money alone to invest, and the information these guys bring into me have me not going to work. You understand? So big up you all again, and I commend the CDF for coming on board with these guys and for making, and big up everybody that come out and take the advice, because that can go a long way. May say, trust me, a very long way. And we're sleeping a lot on our promotion, on how we market ourselves, and we ignorant of them things in St. Lucia. So what I was told, the first question I was asked was, what do you want? You want to make it or you want to blow up? And that's the question you have to ask yourself, like they asked me the question the first time. You want to make it or you want to blow up? Making it, like they told me, making it is just average. Making it is just average. You're not even viral, you're just buzzing. If you want to blow up, you got to put in the work. You have to put in the work, Messi. And I've been putting in the work even before them, but the little advice they gave made me see everywhere I was already lacking in putting in the work. And it's all upstairs. You just get programmed. And thank you again, guys. Thank you so much. You've done so much. You, Star Child, big up yourself, man. Every time.
Big up Star Child.
Yeah, man.
Silent Assassin. Man, it's been like a pleasure. Like we said, Chibu said, we always like striving no matter where we at. Don't look at us and think that we somewhere so far from y'all. We just didn't like quit from where we started at. We still have a lot to go and still fighting every day for our positions and things we see in our head and deals we feel like we worth that we should have. So this is a uphill challenge all the time. So I don't want y'all to ever look at any one of us and think that we're so far beyond any, like you could change a situation in 30 days with the right song and content, and we calling you like, yo, what's good? Like we got somebody to partner with to sign you. So like there's nothing out of reach for any human being, especially if you believe in the higher power. This all could change, not quick, but quick. You know what I'm saying? So definitely appreciate all the love you guys have shown us, and appreciate you guys just understanding that this is more than music. Is your mindset, is your foundation, your base, is your confidence, is your persistence. How long could you hold out for something you think that's right for you? How much did you educate yourself to know what's right for you? And I'm glad you guys got to understand that this is more than just being hot at making a beat or a song or anything like that. It's deeper, way deeper than that. And you guys definitely seem to understand it. I'm glad we were able to open your eyes up a little more because you guys open up our eyes too on some things. So appreciate like the reciprocating, share of good energy and good vibes. And again, thanks to Paris and my guy Siobhan, Mr. Everybody Knows Me. That nobody here know him, right? Yeah, we know you. I know you now. But yeah, man, we appreciate you guys for having us. We're looking forward to coming back this year. Paris is gonna set that up. Miss Jackie O is gonna market and promote it. Siobhan is gonna get all the food, and we lit. All right, guys. Who had a question? Who that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon.
Yes.
And welcome to paradise, bro. We live in paradise. Yeah. Welcome to St. Lucia, bro.
Thank you.
And I'm just happy to be here because I've been listening from the time I came in. My name is Martin James. I am the CEO of ECHO. ECHO is the Eastern Caribbean Collective Organization for Music Rights, and it is the sister society to BMI, ASCAP, and through reciprocals, all the rest of the world. So when I saw the theme, navigating the creative industries and bridging the gap in the global market, I thought it very, befitting, in terms of taking what we have and showing our creatives how to navigate and how to really bridge that gap. There are a couple of variables because one thing we are not without is talent, and you all said it many a times, and we're full of talent. And if you think you have seen talent, you've not seen talent, brother. It's behind that of talent. We have a lot of talent. So the question is, how do you monetize what you're doing? Because all the talk and everything is either two things. Is either you just want to be a creative, and creatives, hey, I see that blackboard there, that's a blank sheet, I'm going to turn that into a piece of art. That kind of thing. Or I'm going to turn that into a piece of art and I want to make a living out of it. So we have to know what we want to do. You have to know what, and you all have said it many times, you have to know what you want to do. The question is, at what point, or are you all members of a CMO, are you all members of BMI, ASCAP, or anything? Are you all members of that? Okay? At what point you all saw the need to become a member of a collective organization, copyright organization, and what benefits are there in terms of monetizing what you're doing and to pass on to our creatives, let them know why you must be a member if it is beneficial to you?
All of us can answer that, but at the point I feel you start joining BMI or CSAC or ASCAP is when you start putting out music and the music is generating revenue. Like when you think you have an interest, you think you have a fan base that's going to support your music, that could turn into some streams and visibility to turn into some money, that's when I feel you should start signing up. I think you should always sign up ASAP just to even have a proper infrastructure on someone collecting monies for your music, because you may be surprised at what can happen with your music just being in the right place. Like I had a short story. I had a song I did in 2017, and someone called me back to use the song in 2022 to using a BET thing, and because I was already registered, I didn't have to really do much. They just asked me for my BMI ASCAP PRO. I gave it to them. They went and registered the song, and then some money started coming in the following year. But if I didn't have that together, I would have just signed the song and gave it to them. Then I would have been wondering, like, where's my money from? This thing is getting used all the time in this episode. Who's collecting? Because I don't know how to get it. I don't know how to reach BET, or I don't know how to reach call Sound Exchange. I don't know who the first place to call to even get the money that comes from a song getting played 30 seconds for day by day on an episode of a show. So it's very important to have and be a part of those organizations that could collect for you. And I don't know if your organization does or not, but a lot of the organizations have classes and websites and stuff and webinars to teach you what they actually do, so you're not in the blind, like, okay, they collect, but no, how do they collect? Where do they go to collect? What's their process, so that you know better, even when you're making certain music, to go, have a better way to dialogue and articulate what you want from them and what you want them to do. And they have a better way to articulate to you the whole process, so you're patient and you know what's going on. So I think it's very important to sign up with, rights and the admin, people to collect on your behalf, 1,000%.
Right. Thank you for that.
Yeah, also on a more surface level, Verse said this earlier this week, and it's so true because I feel like we've all been through this as artists and producers. Before, there was this whole idea, well, it's because we didn't have the education. Right now we have the internet, we have Twitter, we have all this stuff very quick. But before, the labels used to do everything. They used to sign you up for your ASCAP, they used to sign you up. We can literally go on the internet right now on my phone and do all of that for everybody here right now. Ourselves. We could go on DistroKid, we can go on ASCAP, we can do, and sign up every person up here. So it's unnecessary to think that we need all these other things to make something work. You know, it's literally just the fact that we're communicating with each other is enough to learn and say, all right, cool, I need to take these steps early. Like he said, just signing up for it. Why not? Like if you're uploading music, sign up. Like do it.
Right, thank you.
And your other question, you said what happens with some of the music we made here. That was a question you had, right?
Right, the benefits of being a member of a CMO. Right.
Not
At what point it started benefiting you?
Oh, so the
I
benefit.
think you kind of answered it. You kind of answered it. Yeah.
My benefits with being with BMI is honestly they know how to go collect money and things that I don't have time to go chase. They have teams like sit there and they allocate and focus on going to collect.
You will not be able to chase because everybody that use your music must get your permission.
Yes.
And that's an impossible task.
Yes.
So you need the CMO.
Right. For them to go find you and do all that is very impossible. Sometimes they just don't know how to get you because they're dealing with so many other creatives. So you do need a middle person who's focused on being the barrier, the communication, the bridge between you and them is super important because if you're just throwing music out on YouTube, you don't know what you're missing out. You don't know if a TV show wants to use, you just don't have a clue. So it's very important to be part of these organizations.
Right, thank you for that. And I just want to tell you all a couple things. Caribbean music, and I think the last stats showed that Caribbean music from all the way up to all the way down in the chain represents 2% of the global market. 2%, and that's billions of dollars, right? So which means there is a niche, and we have to be able to tap into it. And just what's happening there is a catalyst to allow that to manifest. But in our region, we have some deficiencies because we have the big fish like YouTube. Streaming right now, streaming is a big thing now. Everybody just put their music on YouTube and just do what they have to do. YouTube has indicated that they want no business with the Caribbean with the exception of Jamaica. They're only going to do business with Jamaica. So even though you're in St. Lucia, you stream, you put it up on YouTube, for it to be monetized, it's like a no-no for you. So you need, that's what, because they are the big fish and they see us as the small twee, you know? All right. So the thing is, those things our artists and our creatives and our authority need to understand. So whilst the artists will be at 3 a.m., do what they have to do, get the connections and do all that, for it to be monetized, we have a deficiency. So I just use YouTube. But when it comes to Apple Music and Meta, Spotify, they don't do business directly with us in the Caribbean. They do it through Latinator. Latinator is the Latin and the Latin America societies. They do it through them. And we have to sign a contract with them to be able to monetize and to get the streaming for our people. So these are some of the things that prove a little difficult for our
Where's
creatives.
TuneCore and where's DistroKid?
Yeah, well, they're there, but I mean, you could go directly to them. But then you have to collect. That's why I was asking about the middleman.
So I have a question, right? So if there's such a big gap with the Caribbean market and to me, that doesn't make sense that you guys have to go to the Latin space to go sign up just to get over here. That's ridiculous. Is there no team or something you guys could put together amongst the Caribbean islands and say, hey, we're not doing this way anymore. You guys are going to have to deal with us directly, and it's because we all lock hands to say this, and this just going to have to get renegotiated differently, or we're going to have to just...
We do have the CMOs within the Caribbean. We do have an association, but for some reason or the other, you've still not been heard, you know. But I mean, there's work being done in that regard, and I'm certainly sure it will improve.
Right.
But for now, that's the route we have to take. So,
Okay, so you guys need basically like, you guys need a distributor, one that's dedicated. Because like Africa, Nigeria, they have Boomplay, right? So that's their distribution that most people use to go to all the DSPs, the stores. So you guys have to go to someone else.
Well, we have reciprocals with Sampra and those, in South Africa, we're trying to get reciprocals for them because that's how we want. That's how we do business. So like we do business for our members, and through the reciprocals, they do on our behalf. So that's why the collaborative, the collaborations and all those things are very important. So your music now could get on the other markets, and then it would be streamed elsewhere for it to come in there. So these are
That's definitely something we should sit down and like really talk about, because we didn't know like it's that much of a gap that you have to leave the Caribbeans to go over there just to get there. There is there. It's not a phone call to. It's not 1940 anymore.
The playing field is not level. The playing field is not level.
Super unlevel. But the way to get respect for that is uniting and standing on your business. And yeah, we definitely want to speak to you more about that. Thank you for sharing that information with us. We didn't know the gap was that big. Yeah.
In terms of distribution and monetization, because in Martinique, of course, you could stream, you have the ads playing on YouTube, but here, like, yeah, we don't get anything like that on YouTube.
Wow.
Nothing like that, unless you fake your address or something, the IP address.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good too that you guys, speak up, because a loud voice does a lot. Like us coming here, you telling us this, we're already thinking. I know he's thinking already. Like, wait, what? Like, okay, this has to be spoken about, and it also takes people in that space to speak about it, like the bigger acts in your space, like whoever, the Marshall Montanas, the Popcorns, and the bigger. It takes this conversation to go into people with more visibility that could demand more and have some leverage to say, all right, we got to make a change. And when that happens, changes happen. People make changes. 2%, that's billions. That has an effect.
Right. Thank you for that. Now, there's just one thing I want to say. I know you all know it, but I would just say it for the benefit of the group. If you collaborate with one of you who's a member of a CMO, who's a member, you collecting, you doing all that, and you're not a member of a CMO, you're not going to collect. And even though your music, you are very good, you have a boss rhythm, but you're not a member of a CMO, you will not be able to collect on for the intellectual property, which is yours. And that money, based on our agreement, it stays three years there for you. So you have 3 years to become so that money is there. So these are the things, that's the education, that's the business side of things that you have to know. And you all have said quite a lot in terms of you do this, you do that, you do that, you do that. I don't want there to be a misconception of that. That's why I want to understand that you do it yourself. You need a team. You need persons. You need business professionals. You need those persons to be able to conduct the business on your behalf while you concentrate on your creative. But you have to understand it yourself, so that you not allow them to just manipulate you anyhow, whatever. So I just wanted some clarity on that.
But when you start out, you don't have all that. So what you're talking about doesn't happen till you have motion. You start attracting those people. In the beginning, you're not starting out with anyone. You're going to be your own marketer. You're going to be your own collector. You're going to be your own producer, your own engineer. You're going to be your own everything.
But you only reach a certain level.
Until you get a certain level, and people see that there's something in you and something that they can also benefit from too, because they're not coming around you just to come around you. Then that's when that start happening with the team. Okay, man, you my manager, you handle that. You're my lawyer, you handle this. You're my branding person, you handle this. You're marketing, you handle this. You're road manager, you handle this. But that's after the work that you did. You have to be the biggest person. You have to be your biggest cheerleader and do more work than anybody around you, number one. Then you get you inspire the team, like he said. Now you have the actual team, but it doesn't start that way. Especially if you don't have a budget to pay these people up front. People not coming to give you part of their life and time for free.
Yes. So regarding
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters.
Afternoon.
My name is David Jordan. You may not necessarily know me in the context of music, but I've dabbled with it a little bit. As a matter of fact, the reason why I'm here today, I was listening to a program earlier this morning, and I think the two of you were being interviewed. But there's not much justice to it, and I felt it necessary to be here. I'm happy to see the number of persons in attendance, and also the question of the echo representation. I just want to make a few statements. Whilst we have been speaking about monetization, that seemed to be the salient and only thinking of our creators. Yes, it's justifiable, but at the same time, there are several other measures and variables that you need to address in the execution, the development of your music and your name. I'm happy to hear your question on the focus of a brand. I'm a brand because I'm an economist, and at the same time, I have a consultancy called Giordano, so I operate under that name. What has happened recently for me is that I have been able to collaborate. I invited him here because he's in St. Lucia. He lives in Switzerland, but he has a repertoire of music, and he'd like us, to work with him. So I am interested in it from the business perspective. So the same way that you have pointed out that there are several realms in the music industry, there are several realms for us. But let us start with the individual, because you have to start from, where you're starting, you have to start with that first step you got to make. How many of us, and I say us, have our music registered with an entity? Because if you want to start talking monetization, you need to start talking what? Registration, for somebody to represent your interests. The second thing associated with this is a question of the quality of work that you produce. And let us not talk about we don't have opportunities. Are you aware, are we all aware that whilst the CEO for ECHO was speaking to the issues of the representation and so on, 66% of the music is streamed. So whether you mention Spotify or video or whatever it is streamed. So it means, therefore, we cannot continue as business as usual, relying on what? Radio and television. And the difficulty that the stations have is that these stations do not pay their licenses. They do not produce their log sheets. And as a question, on that basis, therefore, you cannot approach them for revenue. The other thing that you young people need to understand, we have legislation that is outmoded. It probably focuses alone on copyright. And there's so many things that have taken place in the development of music. I heard that, yes, and I think it is less in terms of percentage, Caribbean music. Because when you talk about Caribbean music, boom, right at the top, Bob Marley, boom, in most recent and contemporary, you will talk about Rihanna, and so on. But you have forgotten what Eddie Grant achieved. After a long period of time, he got 2 of his songs for movies. And as a consequence, just like you just referred to, how you gained 2 years afterwards, he was able to reap millions for 2 of his songs. Just 2. After all of this toil and sweat and assisting people with production and so on. I've met him, and he has a good friend, your name, Gilo, in Guyana. And he has worked hard. And now he's reaping the benefits of his toil. But at the same time, let us not lose sight of the fact that the world is changing right in front of your very eyes. 66% of the music is streamed. And it is difficult with the current legislation, the current mechanism to go and collect. It will be difficult. I served for the last 2 years as the chair of ECHO under a theme, a specific theme, let's do it right. And it was necessary because there are a number of things that were taking place within the organization that was not right. And the term of the last executive was to encourage us to do right. So they put their business, okay, in the terms of the basic things, what the demands of these international organizations and the reciprocal organizations that you have to work with. That's done. But what has to be pursued before that 900 members? What has to be pursued is the question of the upliftment and the build the institutional strengthening, that's one, but at the same time, the artists themselves, the creatives themselves. Because I could also say that persons are not necessarily too happy with what they're seeing, and they seem lost. The issue is not just you, you're an expose to them. You're not like Moses, because I know that something will happen based on what I've heard. But it is left to the individual artists right here to determine what they want to do with their music. And as an economist, I could also say that even you have to measure in Japan or the US, creative industries features even more prominently than even manufacturing or industry. And you know that is a fact, whether it's in sports or in music. So we need to know that we cannot continue to operate in a quest to be individualistic. We need to work together in collaboration. We need to work with the institutions. All of that is exposed to us because right now, the world is a village because you have access to the internet. Every single thing that I have said, everything that you have said has been stated by some other person in the rest of the world sharing with us over the internet. So I'm happy to see CDF is doing another session like this because they did that together with some musicians. And this focus on creative industries and linking with the global market in a step-taking process could reap benefits. And I do hope that we take this seriously in terms of the expose that we have here from the global market. We have a lot of solutions in the diaspora who could work with us individually, okay? And it's not a question of singling out the music. One of the things that I lament ever since I got involved is the fact that we have a wealth of music, let's say the traditional, and at the same time what's happening now, contemporary. What do we do to market, to harness those energies and to see the economic growth that could be generated for our young people? And they need to take the whole world in their hands. It is quite possible because I said we are in a village now. It is no longer so far and remote. We could sit down here and be talking to people in China at the appropriate time or whatever it is. And there's so many examples. Look at the transformations that have taken place, whether it be Montano, or whether it be Rihanna, or whether it be Eddie Grant in the region, and the great legendary Bob Marley. And each one of you have the opportunity to become one of them in one way or the other, because you're not necessarily going to replicate them. You could emulate them and identify yourself as your own brand. This is the points I just want to plant at this session, and I do hope that I did not take too much of your time, but I thought you were coming to the end, and I felt it necessary, and that is why I'm here. And kudos to you. As I said, the session was not so informative, it didn't do justice, but I'm happy that I come here. It's unfortunate my colleague who works in Switzerland in music, he is unable to come because he's got some issues downtown, but he would very much like to liaise with you in what he could do with his own repertoire of music that has already been produced. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. I hope y'all really paid a lot of attention to what he was saying. He really just broke it down for you guys. Pretty much to add on to what he was saying, how important that is. So definitely looking forward to having like an ongoing conversation with you for sure, for sure. Like you really just, I'm thinking this whole time while we speaking, like, wow, this is a huge like gap. What was going on over here? So that's why I'm glad we got here. Like Paris and Chibu were the ones having this conversation back and forth and, you know, putting this together in the background to get us all out here. So, man, it's been eye-opening and definitely want to keep the conversation going and see like what action steps we could take.
Yes, so regard...
At that point, it's not only a gap, you know. when you say it's a gap, sometimes people just measure it in terms of the space. It's a gap in terms of the monetary reward. Because if that is capitalized upon, we would not necessarily have to recognize, oh, we have problems, there's the social problems and so on. We're not talking about what the young people can in fact contribute to the development of the country. Okay? Because that's a mindset. And whether it be under the influence of or whatever, that's the mindset. And we need to capture that. And we collectively could ensure that that gap be dollars in the bank for each one of us. Because they are, in fact, opportunities. The banks are hesitant to operate, let's say, when you talk about e-commerce and all of these things. We're hesitant in this part of the world. So hesitant that, it is frightening. So we need to put pressure on these authorities at all levels to ensure that that gap, and we need to define the gap that could be narrowed.
Anybody else got any questions?
Yeah, so I was just inquiring as to the best avenues to distribute music in you guys' opinion. So the best distribution platforms for you. How would you suggest that we distribute music in St. Lucia? Well, just as artists, just to distribute our music.
I mean, I don't think anyone is better than the other one. I think it's about what you do marketing-wise to garner attention to your record. They all do the same thing. In my experience, they just place it on all the stores. I don't think anyone's better than the other one or this one is better than this one. It's about how in demand you are to demand what you want and what you want a distributor or a label or someone to do. I don't think any label is better than other label. I don't think any publishing company is better. I don't think anyone's better than anything. It's really what you demand because of the leverage you built. So I don't personally think any company is better than the other one. You may have better, background analytics on certain companies. That's maybe a difference. But overall, it's still you. It's still your work and what you and your team do overall. They just here to capitalize off of what you have moving already. That's it. They just put gas on your fire. I don't think anyone's better than the other one.
Okay, thank you. But would you say each release needs a specific type of way to release it, or can you just release, like you said, you suggest that we release consistently?
Everything need a plan, but you need to know what people like. So for me, it's release everything. If you got one song, release 30 pieces of content on it, and maybe run some ads if you could. I don't know what you have here, and then see what works. Get the data back. You got to throw out stuff to get the data back. The data's going to tell you what to do next, all right? I threw out 30 pieces with this song, and these 3 worked the best. Why did they work the best? Let me see. Okay, it was the time. Who liked it? Okay, it was this demographic, these states, this country. You could start telling your story. All right, cool. So the next batch I do, since I see what worked, now let me do 10 pieces specifically with the best 2 out of these 3 or even the best 1, and now let me put a little more bread on it to move it. That question is really an open question because of the climate change now. We're in a different space now. People care about what you're showing them that they relate to. So there's no proper way. You got to find out what they want first. And then once you get back some data, then you start making a plan now. Okay, what's my plan? How will I roll this out? Do I have money to roll this out? If I don't have money, how could I get creative with all these free resources around me? I'm on this beautiful island that nobody knows about, right? We on a boat and we see a mountain and then a house and then another mountain and the beach. Is I've never seen anything up close. This place look like those little cards you send to people when you're traveling. It don't look real. So that's content in itself. You guys might see it every day, so this is nothing to you, but it's paradise. This look fake. I was just sitting on the boat just staring wow, people live here. This is a real thing. So you have to figure that out and figure what works, but you have to throw your best, like Ye says, you have to throw everything out all the time. You really data farming. You're farming to see what they want from you. Then you can make the plan properly. You can get a generic plan. You can ask ChatGPT to give you a plan, but that plan isn't unique to you. You have to give them everything. Give everybody here one different plate and see what they like the most. They might like, everybody in here might like the rice and peas. Oh, that's what y'all like? All right, I'm gonna package John rice and peas, the best rice and peas in St. Lucia, da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just very happy to meet you guys, first of all, and wish that I'd known that you all were here a whole week ago, because I definitely would have been, you know, up in your space, because it's just really nice having people like you who are in the business and have been exposed so much more than our artists here. I've been working with artists all my life, but being here today is really nice because there are a lot of young artists, and these are the people I love to work with, because especially those that are hungry. You have to be hungry, you know, for the music and to get to where you want to go. You can't just be saying, you know, hey, I'll just throw out a song here or just jump on a beat here. You have to know what you want. You have to research. But you have to want it, first of all. So a lot of these artists here, I'm feeling that hunger, and it's really good. And it's good that they've met up with you guys so that you all can give them the advice and show them the way and give them guidance, because we don't have a lot of that down here. And we don't have the opportunities and the events like this for them to get together. And also, what it has created, from what I can see, is a lot of camaraderie between them that they probably didn't have before. And wanting to collaborate is very important. Rob, you said a while ago about collaboration, and I've heard one or two say it here. Collaboration is so important. We don't have that a lot in St. Lucia. A lot of our big artists don't collaborate at all. And if you look at the wider world out there right now, it's collabs. Everybody's collaborating, because if I collaborate with you, I get some of your fan base, you get some of my fan base. You know, it's just a wonderful thing. And so I think you've created that sort of mindset for them. And they're going to see a lot of that. And your strengths and weaknesses as well. Because if I'm a really good writer, I might be a good singer, but I don't write nothing, you know, or I really don't know anything about beats, but I can sing, but you can make beats, and hey, our stuff goes together. So, you know, putting people together, that's all I'm saying. What I seem to see here today is that you all have done that in putting people together and being able to do stuff together is very, very important. So I'm happy to see this today. And I'm hoping to see you all back again and being able to build a relationship with you all as well.
Thank you for that. We really looking forward to coming back. So,
I was going to speak up too. Also, you guys got a great culture out here as far as DJing, the club life. Reaching out and getting them connections with your DJ is going to build you a local fan base. So I think a lot of your culture is very, like, with DJs, you know what I'm saying, building those relationships with the DJ. If you're a hot artist and you really believe in yourself, you might have to invest a couple dollars in having a DJ run your record for a week.
Yeah, but there's another thing too. The DJs, yes, and the DJs play out a lot in the parties and the clubs and whatever. But you see the radio stations, we have around 30 radio stations in St. Lucia.
Right.
Okay? And
that's a lot in this
yeah, a lot
area.
in that little space, right?
Right.
And you find that a lot of these guys, they'll put out a track, and their track wouldn't get played, you know? And it's like the DJs here, the DJs on the radio, sorry, their playlist consists of a lot of foreign artists, you know? You'll hear the Jamaican dancehall, you'll hear the Jamaican reggae, you'll hear a lot of soca, right? Denry segment, yes, you hear Denry segment, which is our music.
Right.
But that is just a little bit of St. Lucia. Right. You know, you don't have a whole lot of Denry segment artists, not everybody. We have I think St. Lucia has one of the biggest varieties of genres of music in the Caribbean, really and truly.
Right.
So you have the R&B, and you have the reggae, and you have the dancehall, and you have everything, a little of everything, right?
Right.
But the radio stations don't play the music of our local artists.
Well,
and that is one of our downfalls.
I just think like this. This is the real thing. With this music, the only thing, if you're hot enough and you push yourself to that limit, they're going to be forced to play you.
Yeah.
Okay? If the way you promote yourself to the youth, to the young children, they will be asking the radio station, why don't you play this record? Why don't you play this record? And a lot of the things is, with you guys' culture, which is so great, that you have a great deep root with DJs, and the DJs are like kind of the heartbeat of the music culture out here. The DJs kind of push it and drive it, and they control kind of what you guys digest as far as music. Like those relationships with your local DJ or the DJ that's spin at the club or the club that you hit is going to be your most important outlet, especially out here. Now, I know you guys are thinking worldwide, and blowing up at home is kind of hard because it's a lot of hatred where home is. A lot of people you went to school with like, oh, I could rap too. I rap better than him too. You know what I mean? But you guys have a great culture, and it's just really just about pushing your music to the next level where it's so undeniable that they're going to have to pick it up. Everybody's going to have to listen to it. But, you know, you guys got to start with the ground. And I think about a lot of you guys, the songs you need to make, it doesn't need to be catchy for the youth. But as long as the young kids can feel it, they will push your music through the roof. Like, you know, because that's who pushes it. I think about music in the States. I never listen to what a person 30 and above says about music. They don't know. The person that knows who's talking about music and what's coming next is the kid that's 16, 17, 18, even 15, 14. Those kids are shaping the next generation, the next 10 years of music. So whatever's popular within them, it might be even something you don't like, you don't even think it would ever go. But you gotta always pay attention to it. I always take up like American person like Soulja Boy. I remember a lot of people laughed at him. Oh, he's the most groundbreaking artist, and he was doing this 10, 15 years ago, maybe 08, 09, longer than that. So his blueprint, what people saying was, oh, he's never gonna make it, he's on YouTube. Oh, it's a silly dance. Oh, this isn't real rap. Actually made him a groundbreaker for the future, the kids now, you guys. Because he was one of the first people we ever saw go on YouTube and just put a video, no video director, him and his friends, and growing that popularity with the youth. Now the youth learn that technique, and that's who's carrying that next, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, for you guys, I know you guys were talking about the YouTube and how it might be difficult with the algorithms and getting your music played, right? That's a big problem, but if you force your music and your song is hot enough, and I tell people, you only need one, bro. Like, you only need one. We all got in the game with one record. One. All of us got a deal with one record. It wasn't all the work we did before. They were interested. Oh, you did this? Okay. You know what I mean? So for all you guys that won, I'm not saying spend 3 hours on the song or 8 hours on the song. But you'll feel it when you know it's the one, and I just feel like at the end of the day, and you might not even know it's the one, honestly. I don't think any of us on this board knew the beats that we made and gave to the artist was gonna be the one they picked. We had other beats in mind, we had other songs, so you gotta open your ears up and also listen to everybody else too around you, also the youth. I'm telling you, if you got a little cousin, a little niece, and you got a lot of them, right? You ask them about your music and their opinion. They'll tell you the truth. The kids will tell you the truth. Oh, this sounds old. I don't like this. They're gonna give you the pulse on what's coming next. And that would be my only advice to you guys, because yeah, the music is youth. I mean, if you think about it, Bob Marley, your parents didn't like Bob Marley, right? He's a big weed smoking. They probably were saying all kinds. He's not Christian. He's not this. Is he down with God? Dreadlocks, you know what I mean? And he became a whole cultural influence. And it's the youth that empowered Bob Marley. It's the youth that empowered all these artists, like right now. Even for us, you know, us liking Future or Drake, it was us that pushed them to that mainstream. They're way older than us, but they, you know, we're the ones that drove that car of success to them. So all artists, I would focus on the youth, the young, yeah, because I know you guys probably don't think they know what they're talking about, but they actually are the pulse of the culture. They are what's next. Everything that I see, like I see kids, these kids in Atlanta, they just screaming on the mic and they wilding out. But in the next 5 to 10 years, it's gonna be more punk rap. Like, and that's a sign of it, punk rap, that's what they're gonna start calling it. Or punk drill. You know, it'll be another subculture, right, that'll be hot. So while you're doing this and doing that, it's a kid making this, he's making that. So you always gotta be tapped in to the youth and the underground. And also just having that connection with your DJs and anybody locally. And that's it, that's all I would have to say.
Something that she touched on that I wanted to comment on is about the radio play and those collaborations, because collaborations don't really only mean in music. For example, your music can't fill out the entire hour of radio play. But if you could get a connect and the DJ is putting you on, why not connect your friend or somebody you met here on the camp and say, hey, can you play this guy as well? Because they need to fill the airtime for an entire day. Oh, no, what I'm saying is the artists who are already having theirs played. Yes. I know, which is what I'm saying. So if Sire is friends with one of those DJs and he's getting played, he can get him to also play somebody else.
Where is the love?
Oh, sorry, thank you. Echo can tell you, Martin is sitting right there, that most of the money made in royalties goes foreign because the airplay, they're not playing the local music as much. It's not that the music is not there or it's not available or they don't have it. They have it. There are certain stations, like when Radio St. Lucia was there, they had an entire day that they were playing only local music. Different genres of music, but it was local. The Vibe Radio has on a Thursday, they play local music, okay? But I'm saying that most of the other stations, they don't do that. It's not that they don't have the availability of it, or that it's not there, that they don't get it. They have it. But it's just that they go with the foreign music because they always think that that's what's trending. And that's what they feed our local public. And the public doesn't protest. The public goes with what's going on the radio.
Well, that's the problem right there.
So that's the problem, you know?
I also have a point. So if we zoom, I want to use also P's word, pioneering. If we zoom out a little bit, this is the musical economy right here, the new one.
Yeah.
Who here is going to be that DJ? Who here is going to be that DJ with that idea that's going to say, you know what, I was here at this meeting. You know, I don't think that this is empty. I think this is perfectly full. I think everybody right here can leave with that idea and make this full next time so that that DJ could be in here.
The DJs need to be here.
No, I know, but I'm saying the younger DJ, like this way, the way Merge just said, like the
Yeah.
younger DJ that's not gonna go by the rules, that's not gonna talk about royalty, that's not gonna do all that
And
stuff.
there are a lot of them, so they need to be in this space.
So next,
Hearing,
so everybody
you know?
here has a little bit of responsibility to spread that word to make sure that this is full next time. So that DJ is here, so that artist is here, so that writer is here, and understand like, oh, we can help each other here.
Yes.
We can change this musical economy. This is the pioneering ship.
I agree,
You know, this is the one right here.
for
Like,
sure. Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you. I have a question relating to your record deal. So, if as an artist, one of us gets a record deal from, being an island artist, what are the best tips or advice that you can give us to more smoothly transition into the record deal in terms of financial advice, right? Not just blowing off everything, but how to use it, how do I say, intelligently spend.
First, you got to know what is a record deal.
what does it mean to you?
What does it mean? What is a record deal? That contract you sign, what is that? So you could sign anything and get the money and blow it. You need to know what you signed, what did you take, and what did you owe? And that goes back to like what he said in the camp, like what do you want? And what you going to give for what you want? Because you're going to give something. What are you going to give? So it's bigger than just the money you get. It's just, you get a loan from anybody then. That's a record deal is a loan. That comes with some marketing. So you get a loan from him, her. Some of it's gonna go to taking care of your, home, bills, rent, situate your personal life. The rest of it is going to recording and making a project and marketing. So those questions are very vague, and I say that's what people here gotta do, like that individual research. You gotta do the research. You can't cheat this game. You can't cheat. Some of these questions no one can ask anymore because we have so much access now to information. We have so much. Like when I started music, I had to go hide in the back of the studios in 2001, 2002 to read the books. Because it wasn't like Google and YouTube, everything wasn't there in 2000, 2001. I had to go read, man, what's this? What does this mean? What's in perpetuity? Why do they want to own something in the universe if there's only one planet Earth? I'm very confused by all the terms in here. So like I highly suggest going to read before you just think about the money. Financial advice is financial advice. The record deal is just, the advance is just a loan against what they think you're going to make in the future. That's all it is. It's not this big, huh? Yeah, taking a chance on you. That's all that advance is. It's like, I'm going to give you $1 million because I think I'm probably going to make 20 off of you. That's all that is. Now what you choose to do with it, that's your business, right? You get a business manager, invest in some real estate, income properties, buy up, sign up some producers, sign some writers to work under you, go open up a barbershop, donut shop, all that stuff. So just don't mistake don't get caught up in music. It's just a loan against your talent. It's a loan against what they think you're going to do. It's an advance on what they think you may produce or what this may turn back into. So
I get you, because a lot of us here, musicians, we think that it's just based on just music.
No.
Yeah.
That's the music. It should be, look at it as a tool to sell or exploit your talent to generate some income that you could then use to invest to build wealth, build other things, get some property, buy things that's gonna make money that you don't have to watch every day, which is probably the easiest. I don't know what's out here, but rental properties. Take the music and invest it back into that, or invest into other creators that you see. Take it for that. Don't just think you just sit here and dance on the stage till you 70. Like, you don't want to do that. You want to have a plan with this money, with the advance, with the show money, with stream money, whatever you get. You want to use it and put it into something else that's sustainable, that stays, and just, what they call it, mailbox money. You want to put it into things that money keep coming all the time. And if you could do that, and your seed money could be you leveraging your talent, what better way to do it? Like, you want to leverage your talent, or you want to go work a job that you don't like?
Get you. Thank you very much.
A question that goes out to all the writers. Well, I'm talking on behalf of the writers. Here in St. Lucia, we don't have a publishing. I doubt we have a publishing company, right? We don't. Now, they have a lot of...
No, we do.
Oh, we have a publishing company. Several.
Several.
Oh. So, all right, because there are a lot of artists who don't know about.
Do you know what a publishing company is, or you mistaken that for like a rights organization? What are you talking about?
Well, publishing, like, meaning like your music, if you want like your music to be published, meaning like you don't, like you don't need to sing, but like a writer. Like, all right, like you have a song, like you can say, well, I have a song, Dorix can sing, but you check, but we don't really have a revenue to like kind of publish our music, like our writing out there, because not all, well, not really copyright. Copyright is echo.
Yeah, he talking about different things. Yeah, so you got to do some research because you have the master side of your record, which is the copyright. Then you also have the publishing side. So you're talking about two
I'm
different.
talking about the publishing side.
Yeah, so you know what a publishing company does?
Well, that's what I'm kind of.
You don't know. It's okay. I didn't know any of this stuff either, so I just go look it up or, speak with lawyers. So you have the record label, right, which is the master side. They own the song. They own the final version. They own the actual song, the copyright. They don't have to own it, right? But if you don't have leverage, they're probably going to own it when they give you that advance. And if you do have leverage, they probably you can just license it to them. Then you have your publishing, which is the composers. Who wrote this? Who made the music? You own that IP. That's two different things. So a publishing company can give you an advance to administer and exploit your ownership so that they can make money writing you. That's publishing. They're doing everything they could. They're buying into what you own so that they can exploit it for big opportunities to make a return. You wrote a song, you own 30% of it. Here goes some money. Let me get half of everything you do. They own 15%. They're going to work your song so that they could get money and generate that and turn that into royalties and income. That's the publishing companies. They exploit it.
That's what I'm talking about. So, Martin, we have that kind of company, like publishing company.
Yes, my brother, we're full of publishers in St. Lucia.
All right, well, what I'll do, I'll just come and see you personally.
Here's my card. Yeah, I'll give you my card.
All right,
you could
no
call
problem.
Echo 451-6436 and we'll gladly educate and inform you all, yeah?
It seemed like everyone in here needs to like be his best friend and pick his brain and ask him everything and sign up because the question you ask and he like is answering them. He's you guys BMI for us. So he's if he was in America, you wouldn't even see him in America. You're not seeing a CEO of any of these big companies. You're just not even meeting him. So to see him and have him sitting here is a big thing for you guys. So like really taking advantage of him sitting here. This don't happen in America. You're not seeing the CEO here. Nowhere. They're on an island. They here in St. Lucia. In the cut in, what do you call it, Olive Island, wherever, one of them things in the sky on the mountains, that's where you see them at. So yeah, take advantage of him being so close to you guys.
All right. Thank you for that, because you see our culture is very different. We connect. Right. Very different. So thank you for that. I think the gentleman mentioned Canada and the DJs, and in our culture, you could go to a DJ and have them push your song and do what you're doing. And there's also the talk of that's the DJ jockeys, but then you also have the DJs or the announcers on the radio and all that. So we needed to create, the nexus between all of them, to join them together. In Canada, as a result of the artists collaborating and being deprived of revenue, the government heard them because they were able to come together, and the government, or the authorities rather, heard them, and they created something called CanCom. And that is a legislation it started at 25%, I think it's probably at 30% or 35% now, where the government have legislated that 30% of Canadian content must play on the airwaves, on the broadcasters, to be able to cause the locals to generate income.
Somebody lobbied for that. So where's the people here that do that?
Well, the artists did that themselves, because don't forget BMI, as a CMO, you cannot do that because you cannot discriminate against any genre, or you cannot do that because we have reciprocals with the rest of the world. You understand? So that is some of the ideas that I think our creatives should start doing. Push the music, do it, let it trend, let it happen. And I am happy for CDF. I am happy we have a creative industry, and for some reason or the other, they seem to be listening. We have some persons in there who have heart, and they're listening. So that might be the way to inject some much needed revenue and cause persons to understand why they need to pay. So CanCom is one such. You could do the research, and it is working well. So you have Canadian content, and it could be a Canadian collaborating with a South African and wherever around the world. As long as a Canadian is part of that project, it becomes Canadian content.
Yeah.
So which means it just breeds revenue and it just grows.
It should be mandatory to support your hometown, or else you're just gonna keep playing music from overseas and sending the money back, and y'all just dancing, but that money going back over there, and whoever's at the radio station getting their little sugar money to, you know what I mean? So I think that needs to happen here. Exactly what you said has to happen here.
But the artists or the creatives
Yes.
need to do it themselves.
Absolutely.
Good job.
Yeah. This doesn't skip, and you just go to him and tell him to do
There's a lot of legislation
it.
that is archaic,
Right.
that needs amendment.
On that note, there's actually no broadcast bill in St. Lucia, and a lot of people don't know that. I sat on committees with a previous government. They had the permanent secretary who pulled together people to talk about doing this broadcast bill. All the time, no, I'm talking about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, before this government got in. The one that was there before. They were actually looking into this thing and then found out there really is no broadcast bill. There was one drawn up in 2011 and brought into cabinet, and it stayed as a draft. So it's never become an official bill. So the job was with this committee, we were to look at this bill and make amendments and invite do a lot of consultation with radio stations and other sectors, and then to put this bill so that it becomes a bill. And part of that bill was going to be what Martin was talking about, where we said 25% of the content was going to be St. Lucian music, right? Up to now, nothing has ever come out of it. All these 30 radio stations around St. Lucia, all they have is an agreement with the government's statutory board, which is NTRC, which says what frequency that they operate on the radio. But there's no, so that's all they have. So they can do whatever they want. As long as they have that thing, they operate on that frequency, that's the number on the dial, that's it. But to say that there's a bill, that there's actually rules and laws and legislation for broadcasting, we haven't got one. So that's the problem.
Well, you guys know how to fix your problem. You just said everything and how to fix it. So y'all got to mobilize.
Yeah, but you see, another thing is that, I'm going to say it here and with all these young people here, is that you have to take interest in your business.
Yes.
For instance, you do a track, you do a song, you record it, and you don't register it with Echo. And most of them don't, Right. A lot of them don't.
Right.
So somebody now can just take that song and start doing something with it, and where are your rights? You have nothing registered to say this is yours. They go into recording studios. There's no sheet. What's the name of the sheet? The sheet.
Split sheet.
Huh?
Split sheet.
The split sheet. There's no split sheet. So they record on somebody's beat, or the producer does whatever. There's no split sheet. Then if they go to Echo now, then Echo has to try and figure out, okay, what is the percentage here that's split?
Well, that's a problem everywhere. There's no split sheet in anything we do anywhere. We just all know, all right.
We need to start doing that, because that's a problem.
Or you collaborate with people that you have an understanding with. Because to get people to pull out split sheets in the middle of creating and you don't even know what the song is going to end up as is almost impossible. It's almost like let it finish. Or it's like, if it's 5 of us in the room, this getting split in 5. I don't even want to argue nothing. Just easy, done. All right, cool, register.
Right. Right.
It just makes it easier than,
But then when it goes to register, you have to know what's going on, you know? So the artist goes and registers, but the producer has part of it too. So what is the split here, you know? So we have to have these conversations.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Right,
Even
right.
if you don't have a split sheet, what is the conversation? What kind of agreement are you doing with that person?
Right.
You know? So there's a lot that artists, and it's not just the young ones, you know, it's the ones that have been there for 100 years, you know, they're doing the same thing, but they just don't want to understand the business of the music, and that's very important.
they will when they realize they want to earn from it and stop working. You're going to change your mindset and really be about your business when you want to free yourself up and make a living off of your being creative. It's a huge difference. Once you start making money from something you love, you really get deeper in it because you say, okay, I got to protect this now. So now I want to stay here. I don't want to just make money this 1 year. I need to learn more. What do I do so I can stay in this, so I can live the rest of my life like this? And you're going to have your own self-drive, your own internal ambition and drive that no one outside has to tell you because you had a taste now. You had a taste of what this feels like to live off of just music only.
Can we
Like,
get my brother in the back?
Who's that? Oh.
I think we need another mic.
All right, so I have a slightly different approach when it comes to music, right? I feel like a lot of creatives and artists out here are too dependable, you understand? Like, you want to achieve a particular goal, you got to go after it at whatever cost it is. And if this doesn't work, you should try something else. What I find with the industry is you have a lot of people coming with the same topics in different definitions, and they all lead into the same place, and everyone follows that same thing, all right? So me as a producer and an artist, if I realize, for example, government is not working, I will go get my bread myself. You understand? Because many times, as much as you want from a table, you have to bring to the table.
Absolutely.
And if people cannot see a product they want to invest in, there's no investor in the first place. So I feel like artists, producers, whoever it is, should stop blaming everybody but themselves for doing certain things and for certain results. Because if I don't see a product, I cannot put you on the shelf. That's my take.
Agreed.
I just want to capture what was said earlier by just a little graphic. As a result of the problem, you know the difficulty that Echo has as an example? Echo is a collector for the others. And how much goes out? It was estimated at one time 100%, 90%. That has to improve, as an example. The other graphic I want to point out. I do recall in 1990 I was in Japan, and I couldn't understand what the Japanese were saying. Reggae bar, reggae bar, reggae bar, all kinds of different accents. You know what they're saying? So I chose to go with a Japanese to the reggae bar, reggae bar. So I'm just, you know what was happening in Japan? There were bars where Japanese were singing English songs, and primarily Bob Marley music. You know what has happened since? Because we're now in 2024. The number of Japanese that travel from Japan to Negril, and you know what they go online doing? They got a big Jumba smoking star, and they integrate with the Jamaicans. And they even have styly locks. You know what has been generated there? An industry. Okay? So when you talk about, it's not only the music, how you market it. And my brethren, they've just made a salient point. You cannot continue to rely on government. Leve kawe bi fair, sauni bu fair. Raise, get on your 2 feet and do what you got to do.
You got it.
That's the bottom line. And you would continue to contribute to the changes that has to be made. The changes will come because we cannot continue the same type of music. We lost our music, what is it called? Merrymakers and these bands used to play. Then I heard an artist talking to an international audience saying that our music originated from Dominica. as an example. That's a misguided thought. We had music in Barbados. We were better than Barbados. Patsika Day says it. And what has happened? Because of all of this, let us use the term, fight down, instead of elevating each other. Where are we now? We're still fighting, like crabs in a barrel. Not the white crabs, like black crabs in a barrel pulling each other down. The white crabs elevate each other. But we break down. Now, this is not necessarily in any social context to interpret it's racist or anything so. It is a cultural norm by the market where this lady noted how she would cover the light-colored crabs because they were the ones organized to elevate each other. But she would not cover the dark-colored crabs. You know why? They were fighting each other. So here it is, within the context of legislation and policy, there need to be advocacy by the artists in terms of what they wish to have. Because we cannot continue to pay 90%. Yes, there has been some improvement in the last 2 years or so. That high rate of paying back outside, that money has to be generated within. So whilst we have a healthy intellectual debate, we understand the vagaries and the dynamics of the industry here locally. We've been exposed to the global market. Some of us here have links with the outside world, the diaspora, and they could continue to work to make the changes. And as I said to you, what I saw in Japan and the transition in Jamaica, the same thing could be done here because we have a new genre of music, the Denry segment. Here we have Denry segment, Denry segment. Do we have the support behind them? We may get it, we may not get it, but the artists need to come together and work together to achieve their goals. And I like what you said earlier.
Great. Young brother in the front.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Let me start off by introducing myself. My name is Anthony Wilkie, and I am the Senior Officer for Training, Promotion, and Development at the Cultural Development Foundation. This activity organized here today is part of our educational outreach as part of the Jazz and Arts Festival. And I want to echo what Noel said when he said that we should appreciate that the conversation actually happened there today, despite the numbers. Because I'm sure that at the beginning, many of us were kind of perturbed that the room was not filled. But I think that actually worked in our favor. And I think that actually helped us to achieve the objectives of this discussion because it was actually a discussion. I, of course, love how the educational side of it took the forefront naturally and has created somewhat of an inspiration for us to go out there and do more research, do more education of our industry so that we can better understand how we can take advantage of it. And I definitely, on behalf of the Cultural Development Foundation, want to thank Mr. Rosary and No Creatives Left Behind, each and every one of you guys who came down. And I know on the books, this is not rolled out how we anticipated, but I think in ways, it excelled what we intended to do. And this was a pilot project. So to the artists here, this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. We have a long way to go, but through our collaborative effort, we definitely can get there. Even for me, as a new training officer, I was a teacher before. I'm an artist myself. But there are many artists who are here today that I've never met. And there's no database for me to actually make contact with them. And they themselves, I'm sure, are feeling disconnected from the CDF. But let me take this forum to let you know that we are moving in a new direction. And we definitely want to collaborate more. We want to create more opportunities like this where we have AMP present, we have Echo present, we have you, the artist, present. And of course, you as well can invite other persons because you have the network. In as much as I may have the office, you have the network, and the power really is there. Because I can tell you, looking out, I only spoke to like one person, that's Pilot, from my end, who is here. And yet still, so many other persons are here through the collaborative effort. So kudos to you, and that tells you that we are moving in the right direction when we talk about sharing with each other, and speaking of the DJs, to use them as a means of getting the music out there, getting to the point that we want to get. We have the power in the numbers on our end. So in as much as the organizations exist to make it happen, the driving force really is the numbers, you, the artists. So only through collaboration can we really achieve this goal that we are all eager and willing to benefit from. So again, I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone. Of course, our panel, our panelists, and Miss Jackie Weeks. Sorry, I need to stop calling that Miss Cherubin. Mr. Martin James, and of course, you in particular, our artists who came out to this discussion, because without you, there would have been no discussion. So I hope we can look at it from that perspective and we can appreciate the power that we have. And going forward, we can put that into play more to reap the benefits of what's actually available. Because we are living in a new time where we have the power. It's out there. We just have to go out and get it. So thank you so much for coming out and supporting this panel. And we look forward to more collaboration in the future. There was, I don't want to use the term register. Sorry, that's just the word that's in my head since I was a teacher. But there was something passing around where we are trying to gather information. I must say that that is also one of our initiatives that I am initiating at the CDF. We want to create a database so we have access and we know who to target for particular things and how to intertwine everything. So please, if you've not put down your information, please ensure that you do so before you leave so that I have access to it and we have access to each other. Thank you very much. Of course, I also need to